Chapter 1. September 1st, 2011, 11 a.m. The dawn of a new day. Brittany and her sisters stepped off the airplane. As they looked around, Eleanor saw Theodore. He was talking with his brothers. She wished he would look at her. The voice called for order. Everyone looked up at where the voice came from. "Hi, my name is James Thomas, and I welcome everyone to his school I created for gifted people and animals such as Toby, Seville, and Crypto. Today everyone will break into teams of 3. Be sure to join a team by the end of today, so have a nice year up here." Eleanor said, "We will want to stick together just like Alvin and his brothers will stick together." Chapter 2. Team names. September 1st, 2011, 11:30 a.m. Alvin and his brothers decided to stick together. Simon said we should come up with a team name. Theodore said, "What about the Starjammers?" Alvin said, "No, how about the X-Monks, Simon?" Simon said, "Okay, I will go register the team name at the office." 15 minutes later, Simon said, "Alvin, it is done. We are the X-Monks, and the Chipettes are the Diamond Dolls." And the lady at the office said, "Today, we take a power placement test." After lunch at noon, asked Theodore, "What time you got?" Theodore said, "It is 11:30, so we have half hour to go. Let's go to the mess hall." Simon said, "One more thing, Alvin, you are team leader and Brittany is a team leader." Meanwhile, Eleanor was at the mess hall with her sisters. Brittany said, "Let's get a bite to eat before the test." Eleanor watched as Alvin, Theodore, and Simon walked in the mess hall. 1 hour later, a voice said to all students, "Go to the gym for the power placement test." Brittany said, "Let's go, girls." Eleanor and Jeanette said, "Okay." At the same time, Alvin and his brothers went to the turbo lift. Both groups walked in the turbo lift. Brittany said hi to Alvin and good luck. Alvin said that to you, Brittany. Both groups walked through the double doors to the Brittany said to Eleanor, "This gym is huge. It must be at least 400 years long." Jeanette said, "It is 600 years long." Chapter 3. Power Placement Test. 12 p.m. James said the first team to demonstrate their powers are the Diamond Dolls. Brittany is the team leader of the Diamond Dolls. "Are you ready?" Brittany said, "Yes, I am." She lifted her hands. Out came pink butterflies made of energy. James said, "Looks like you have the power of psionic energy." And Eleanor, "You are next." Eleanor stepped up and put her hands in front of her and a green dust came of her hands. James said, "On a closer look of the dust, these are emeralds." James said, "Jeanette, you are next." Jeanette said, "Okay then." She closed her eyes, then she transformed into a raven, flew around she landed, then she transformed back. James said, "You are anamorphic there. You have the Diamond Dolls." The Diamond Dolls walked over by the X-Monks. James said, "The X-Monks are next up." Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. James said, "Alvin, are you ready?" Alvin said, "I was born ready." Then he put his hands in front of him and a fireball flew out of his hands. James said, "You have pyrokinesis." Simon, "You are next." Simon said, "Okay then." He put his hands in front of him and water started to stream out of his hands. James said, "You look like you the power over water." And Theodore, "Your." Theodore said, put his hands in front of him, then he farted. His fart knocked over Alvin and Simon and he said, "Darn the bean and cheese taco I had for lunch today." Eleanor and Brittany started laughing. James said, "Looks like you have the power of wind." So his ends the power placement test and class schedules and map will be handed out at the door when you exit the gym, and classes will start tomorrow. Brittany said, "Finally, that nightmare is over. I hate test." Jeanette said, "That was not as bad. I thought it went well." Alvin said, "It was a piece of cake." Brittany said, "The hard work starts tomorrow." Eleanor said, "Let's get our class schedules." Theodore said, "Okay." Theodore and Eleanor were walking out of the gym when they were stopped by 2 teachers. The first teacher said, "My name is Linda, and I am in charge of costume design. Here is your map, Theodore, and your team's class schedules." Be sure to give this to Alvin, as he is the team leader. The second teacher said, my name is Jason, and I teach power armor, and here are your team's schedules, Eleanor. Make sure Brittany gets them. Alvin, Simon, Brittany, and Jeanette finally caught up to Theodore and Eleanor in the mess hall. Brittany said, Eleanor, what is our first class tomorrow? Eleanor said, the first class is history of superpowers. Alvin said, Theodore, what is our first class tomorrow? Theodore said, power focus. Alvin said, okay, let me hold on to the schedule, Theodore. Theodore said, okay, and they started to look at the map. Simon said, where do we sleep, Theodore? Theodore said, he boy dorm is on deck 6, the girls are on deck 5, and the mess hall on deck 4, the gym is deck 3, the classrooms are on deck 2. Alvin said, let's check out our room. So the ex-monks went to their room on deck 6. Meanwhile, the Diamond Dolls were going to their room on deck 5. Brittany, Eleanor, and Jeanette, they stepped off the turbo lift. They saw a long hallway with about 10 doors, 5 doors on each side of the hall. Jeanette said, look at the doors, they have team names on the doors. Eleanor said, here's our room. Brittany said, Jeanette. Eleanor found our room. Eleanor, Jeanette, and Brittany walked in the room. Eleanor said, now this is a big room. She saw 3 beds with a dresser under the beds. Brittany was checking the bathroom out. Brittany said, the bathtub in here is big enough for the 3 of us at the same time. 3 hours later, they were done unpacking. Eleanor said, let's go to the mess hall for dinner. Brittany and Jeanette said, okay. As they waited for the turbo lift to open, finally the door opened. Alvin said, from the, are you girls done unpacking? Brittany said, yes, Alvin, we are done unpacking, and we are going to the mess hall. Then Theodore said, deck for 1 minute. Later the door opened. Everyone stepped out of the lift into the mess hall. Brittany said, it looks like they are serving chicken nuggets and pizza. 10 minutes later, the 2 teams stepped into the turbo lift. Eleanor said, deck 5. Theodore said, deck 6. The Diamond Dolls got off on deck 5. Brittany said, see you tomorrow, Alvin. Alvin and brothers went to their room and went to bed.